Keith is with us on the Clark Howard Show. Hello, Keith.
How you doing today?
Great, thank you, Keith. You want to talk about free energy from the sun.
Oh, yeah, I'm a big fan of it. And I was watching a show in the local news here in Georgia about it, and there's a law in my state that's being blocked by, like, one particular senator, and it just seems like wrong-headed. I mean, it just seems like so many opportunities are being blocked by this one, I don't know, backwards-looking idea about how to deal with solar energy.
All right, well, let me tell you what's going on. You said you know about the fight going on in Georgia, right?
Uh-huh.
There's also an issue in Florida and many other states where the power company in a state is so powerful. In Florida, it's FPL. In Georgia, it's the Georgia Power Company, and you can go state by state and name who it is who is in most states. The power company is the most powerful lobbying organization in a state with a state legislature. The monopoly power companies are terrified of the fact that they may not be able to compete anymore with solar, because for a long time, solar was really almost a folly. It was what it cost to install versus the kilowatts you would generate. It wasn't economical. But today, Keith, now because solar panels have become at the same time much cheaper than they used to be, and they generate much more energy per panel than they used to. The efficiency of the panels has increased, I think, by 600 or 700% in just a few years.
Job with it. I've been following it for a long time.
So solar now is cost competitive in most states, and in high energy cost states, it is significantly cheaper than buying power from the power company. So what the power companies have done, and they've done it a little different state by state, is they have gotten laws through state legislatures that make it essentially a crime to install solar in many situations, a criminal act.
Wow.
And so that tells you how powerful the power companies are.
Wow.
So what I'm familiar with the Georgia situation. What they've done is they have made it a crime, a felony, if you were to come in and let's say you are Keith's Solar Company, and you come in and say, I'm going to install solar at your school, or I'm going to install solar at your military facility, your military base, or I'm going to install solar at a factory or a retail store, or I'm going to install it at people's homes, and I'm going to guarantee you're not going to lose money by saying I'm going to take all the risk, but you and I will split the savings. That's called, in many states, they call that a PPA, Keith. Well, the problem for the power companies is the PPAs work for everybody except the monopoly power company. So they have been trying to get these laws through that make it something you would go to jail for if Keith's Solar Company were to install solar and take on the risk for the public school or the military base or the retailer or the business or the residents. So that's what this is about. It's flat out fear of the free market.
How do we change it, though?
Well, what it takes, and a lot of states, the people power has overcome the influence of the utility company. And so it takes people letting their state legislator know, both and your legislator and your state senator know that this is not okay with you, that you want the right to buy solar power if that's what you want to do. And I got a little story for you. I have solar at my house, and I had a hillside where I put in an array of panels, what they call a solar farm. I had more than enough capacity to efficiently share power with my next door neighbor, and we would both benefit. If I had done that, my next door neighbor and I both could have gone to prison for many years. That is a crime. Now, that is ridiculous. The real crime is power companies being in a position that they can own the legislatures and restrict the ability for people to do what they want to on their own private property. This is something that needs to be fixed. Keith, by you bringing it up, other people know. And again, I think it's it's like 20 states have these pro-power company policies that drive up the cost of energy for everybody. And also, by the way, increase pollution if you care about that. And solar and wind, depending on the state, can make a big difference. You think about the theme of this hour of the show? Big companies, because of their very size, what I told you earlier about the big bank that was aiding terrorist groups, and nobody's going to jail because the bank's so big they can't afford to have the bank go bust. Big businesses having their sway and their say just because of their size. That's not okay, is it? You're listening to The Clark Howard Show. Our number on The Clark Howard Show, 877-87-CLARK.